welcome to another episode of Hack a Week. We're here this week in my business, Resto Euro. Check out the Resto Euro channel. There's a link to that down there in the video description. This is a metal lathe over here in this crate. We need to uncrate it, and in this episode, I'm going to build a workbench for it. We're going to get it out of the crate, lift it up with an engine hoist, get it all leveled out, set up, and ready to run. Precision Matthews PM1030V. This is a pretty decent lathe for the money. This was about $2,100 shipped to my location from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Looks like it's packed up pretty nice here. It's got some strapping I got to pop off. There's a couple of bolts on the top here, and then we've got nails and stuff. So let's go ahead and uncrate this baby. All strapped up and ready to lift. Don't lift it by the spindle, lift it by the ways. Let's see how this balances out. Looks like it's going to be all right. Now that it's up in the air, I can measure where the mounting holes are down here on the feet in relation to the rest of the lathe. There's two on the gear head end, and there's two out here on the tailstock end, or one out there on the tailstock end. And I've got a bench that I'm making here, welding up to put the lathe on. It's upside down right now, but I'm going to put some cross supports in, like right there and a couple right there, and I'll weld a plate of steel there, and I can drill a hole through and then bolt this thing down and level it out all nice. I've got two plates of 1/4-inch steel here with some 1/2-inch holes drilled in them. This is the end where the headstock will go, tailstock goes here, and there's my drip and chip pan. I'll put that on, and then we're going to do a test fit on the lathe. Now we can push it over the table. I'm just going to crack this open so it's just barely moving, and then I can guide it into place as it comes down. Go to the other end, see where that one is. Slack out of it, and let's take a look underneath. Not too bad. That one is lined up almost there. Let's go down to the tailstock end. That looks pretty good too. The lathe's at home on its new table. I beefed this table up a whole bunch. I put it on there and I shook it around, and it was a little vibrating, so I braced the living hell out of this thing. I've got triangle bracing going on all over the place, and now it's pretty damn rock solid. I don't have it 100% bolted down yet because I want to do the cleanup and everything, and then I'll go ahead and level it out. Let's take a look at what comes in that little toolbox. That one right there. You got the extra gears for all the threading, oil can. There's the outside jaws that go on the 3-jaw chuck. Allen wrenches, a set of spanners, a couple of screwdrivers, an MT4 dead center, MT2 dead center. Not sure what the MT4 is for yet. I guess I'll figure that out. There's all the handles that go on the lead screws. They had them off for shipping, which is wise. And let's see, what else we got here? I'm not sure what that does yet. I guess I'll find out. There's the chuck key. That's a safety key that you can't leave in the chuck. Spring loaded. Smart. Let's take a look at what else came with it. It's all unboxed here now. We got a faceplate here. Follow rest, steady rest. Came with a nice live center. There's the drill chuck. I'm not sure what size that goes up to. It's pretty good size with the chuck key and a separate MT2 holder there. There's the 4-jaw chuck. There's the original 2-post and its handle, I guess. Here's the holders for the tools that go on the wedge type tool post that it came with right there. So now it's time to just get cleaning everything up and putting the handles on and get it leveled out. So there's all this oil on here that it came with from the factory. We've got to get all that stuff off. There's a lot of it everywhere. I'm just going to use a mild solvent to rinse all this off, clean it up really well, and then I'm just going to double check everything to make sure that it's all adjusted and put together properly. And then we can fire it up. I'm going to save you all the pain of watching me clean grease, because that's really not that exciting. So already a little glitch here. There's a safety switch right here. This thing won't run with the cover off, okay? This little piece, let me pull this thing out right here. This mounts inside the cover right here. Well, it was mounted up, but it wasn't tightened up. And it's a little sketchy how it goes into this spot right here. The cover doesn't fit all that perfect. It's a little point of tweaking, I guess, that you got to do with this. But anyway, when you push that in there, don't run it with the cover off. Not the best idea in the world, but I did this just to troubleshoot it. As soon as I did that, then everything was okay. And it does indeed run. The variable speed works. Got an RPM readout. Should go up to 1,000. Yeah, whatever. A little clunky sounding. It's okay though. We'll just let it run for a while. And then we'll see if we can tackle this cover and get that safety switch mounted properly. I've done a bit more work here in the machine area. Got some big old floodlights up there. They're kind of like the outdoor street light type lights. I inherited these with the building. Got them hooked up the other day. They really throw a lot of nice light. I got a light above the bench here, a shelf 8 feet long to put stuff on. And right now I'm in the middle of getting some grease on the gears here. According to the manual, it says to grease up the gears with some high pressure sticky grease. So that's just what I'm using. I'm using some red lithium, really stringy, sticky stuff. Just going to get it on the gears, and then we'll give it a run and let it work through the teeth all the way around. I ran it up to about 900 RPMs for a minute or two, and there we go. Got grease on all the gears, and it didn't really sling all over the place because it's really tenacious stuff. As far as bed leveling goes, I don't have a machinist level at the moment. I've got the table as leveled out as it can be relative to the table, and I did check it out here with this level that I do have. This is just a simple little torpedo level. It's above average. It's not a super cheap one, but you can see there where the bubble's at. I'll get you a little closer. Take a look at the bubble. Now that's at the end near the headstock. And I've got a tool holder on there to keep it weighted down. I'm going to roll it down to the other end of the tailstock and we'll take a look. Here it is down at the other extreme end, at the tailstock end, and it's not too bad. You can see that it's pretty well about where it was. It's close enough for now until I can buy a machinist level and really check it. And then what I'll do is do any necessary shimming down here at this end, underneath the foot on one side or the other with some small pieces of metal.
Before I do any further operations with the machine, I need to lube it with oil, with this little oil can that came with the machine. It's got a special tip on it that fits right into these fittings, and they have a little ball bearing in them that pops up and seals the fitting. You push it in with the oil can, give it a couple pumps, and you're good to go. So they're located in numerous places on the machine. You can refer to the owner's manual to where they're all at. Let's go ahead and lube everything up. Okay, so we'll just push this in. Give it a squirt of oil. Wipe off the excess. Move on to the next one. You know, I've decided to pull a lot of this stuff apart because I'm finding there's bits of metal down in here on the threaded portion where the lead screw goes in for the compound slide. There's just some little pieces of shavings that weren't really cleaned out when this was machined. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and pull apart the whole top section here. I'm going to take the slide off, all this stuff, and just get in there and really look close at everything, clean up everything really, really well, and lubricate it and put it all back together. Well, this is nice and clean in here now. This piece has been hand scraped on the bottom to hold a little bit of oil and to make sure it's nice and flat. It moves pretty easy now. Inside here there are two thrust bearings. There's one on this side, one on this side of the lead screw, and they could probably be upgraded, but they seem to be okay. And after putting it all back together, I thought I would check out what kind of backlash I've got here. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'll creep up on 0 on the dial by moving it clockwise and stop right there. Okay, take note of where the dial gauge is. Now I'm going to go counterclockwise real slowly until I just see that dial gauge move right there. Looks like I got about 2 to 3 thousandths of backlash. Not too bad. I've done a little work on the compound slide. I pulled out the lead screw, and right in here there's kind of a collar. There's no thrust bearings on this. There's just like a larger area of it, kind of like a flange, and it presses against this portion or this portion, and that's pretty much how it all works. To adjust the backlash, over here on the screw there is a nylock nut that you can just tweak a little bit and get rid of a lot of the backlash. If you get it too tight, then it doesn't turn very easily. You get it too loose, you have a lot of backlash. So not super important to get rid of all that backlash, but it's nice to have as much of it gone as possible. So let's see what we've got here. Let me creep up on 0 in the clockwise direction. I've got this preset to 0, and we'll go the other way now, counterclockwise, till we see the needle start to move on the dial gauge right there. And we're at about 3 to 4 thousandths of backlash. Not too bad. And if I get my dial out of the way, whoa, I can crank it now with one of these. On the way back out, it's a little tough. You have to use both of the handles. Doesn't really go too smooth. Now if I loosen it up and end up with more backlash, this will move a little quicker, but kind of a matter of convenience. I'd rather have less backlash and have to turn it like this than have more backlash and be able to just spin it freely. Okay, let's check just the Freeplay on this. I've got the whole carriage locked down with that Allen screw right there. If you tighten that up, it locks this onto the ways so it doesn't move. Let's take a look at just how much Freeplay there is in this. It's at 0 right now. Looks like about the same as the backlash, about 3 to 4 thousandths. Now if I want to be real precise with this, of course, I can just take it all the way to here, and it bottoms out in that direction, and then we pretty much eliminate almost all of it. I mean, I'm barely getting 1/1000th of an inch now if I press hard. Okay, let's take a look at the carriage and how much backlash we have on that. I've loosened up the Allen screw so it will move freely now. I'm going to move the wheel down here, you can't see down here off camera, so that the dial reads 0. I'm going clockwise. And the dial is at 0. My wheel down here is at 0. Now I'm going to go counterclockwise till I see the dial gauge move a little. Right there. And let's see. That's not bad. We got maybe 0.002 down there. So that's pretty good. Well, that about wraps up the setup on the Precision Matthews PM1030V. I have a little project I've got to do on it right away. It's just a simple thing I've got to build out of some round stock, a little tool that's going to remove a snap ring for me and help me put it back on a starter. I've got to change out a Bendix gear on a starter. This is a really nice lathe for the money. For somewhere around $2,100 or $2,200, depending on where you're getting it shipped to, you get a lot of lathe for your money. It's quality built. You've got really awesome support from Precision Matthews. Matt is a really good guy. You look at the forums, like on the Hobby Machinist forum, lots of people are talking about how they'll have some little issue and they'll email Matt and he emails back right away. Super good support, and that means a lot on a machine like this because, let's face it, it's a sub $3,000 machine, so you're bound to have a few little issues here and there. It's not a real high-end machine where if you pay $6,000 to $8,000, you're getting up into a category of something that's going to be a lot more precise right out of the box. But with a little bit of tweaking like I did here today and some cleanup and adjustment, you end up with a really good machine for somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,200, which is pretty awesome. Got power crossfeed, power longitudinal feed in both directions. It will thread English and metric threads. Comes with all those accessories and things that I showed you in the beginning of the video. So I think it's an awesome deal. Matt is a good guy. He's got a really good business going there. Way to go. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all the social media that's listed there down below. And until next time,